Hello there, and today I will be telling you about 5 tips and tricks for players under the level 100 in Phasmophobia. Tip number 1, let's get right into it. How to use light switches to tell if the ghost is hunting. By using a light switch, you can tell if the ghost is hunting by going to the light switch and flicking it on and off. And when you go to flick the light switch to turn the lights on and off, if the light switch moves, that means the ghost is not hunting. If it's locked and you can't flick it up and down, that means the ghost is hunting. Now this tip is more so used in bigger maps, but you can use it in smaller maps. Some of the maps that I'd highly recommend you always use this on, if you're playing on a harder difficulty, like Nightmare Mode, 10x, 20x, 24x, etc., is Prison, Sunny Meadows, and Sunny Meadows Restricted in high school. Those are the 4 best maps this tip works on. But like I said before, you can use it on any map you want. But most of the small maps, you'll just be able to hear the ghost if it's hunting. But with that said, tip number 2, how to break the line of sight of the ghost. So a lot of new players don't know this, but if you don't break the line of sight of the ghost will gradually speed up coming after you. So if you're trying to loop the ghost around a kitchen counter, around a wall or something, and the ghost can constantly see you, then the ghost is quickly gonna catch up to you. So how you break the line of sight of the ghost? So I'm gonna use the kitchen counter as an example. So if you're looping around on Ridgeview Street House, Tanglewood Street House, you can use the kitchen counters, right? You can loop around them. If you crouch behind the kitchen counters, when the ghost is on the other side of it, the ghost will slow down because you broke its line of sight. But this won't mean the ghost will just leave you alone. You can't hide like this. You just break the line of sight so the ghost moves slower. But it will still know if you were there, because it can still technically see you. Don't ask me how that works. If you break line of sight, the ghost can still see you. But it is. But that said, that's how you do it. If you break line of sight with the ghost, it will slow down and it will let you loop it. So it will, once you come back into its line of sight, it will start gradually getting faster and faster and faster. So when you try and get a photo of it by coming back up, you ought to make sure you get the photo and instantly break line of sight back down again, or the ghost will catch up to you and kill you. So that said, tip number 3. This is more so of not really a tip, but it is more of a trick than a tip. But I see a lot of players, and when I play Phasmophobia, that not everybody knows Spirit Box questions, and they keep saying that it's not Spirit Box, because they don't know what questions actually trigger keywords and responses. It's like, I'll see a lot of people say, is there any spirits nearby? And that one typically doesn't work. There's like a very low chance of that one working. So I'm going to tell you 5 of the keywords that I typically use and a lot of people typically use that triggers a response quite fast. So keyword number 1, are you here or where are you? Those two pretty much fall under the same thing. They both mean the same thing, just with different wording. You can pretty much say the same thing and it goes to give you the same response. Sometimes it won't give you the same response if it's trying to mess with you, but that doesn't really matter because you don't really need the response from the ghost. You only need the response to get the evidence rather, for Spirit Box. Keyword number 2. This actually ties into keyword number 3, and this is another keyword I forgot to put in. If it's, are you young, are you old, or are you an adult? All 3 of them mean the same thing. And how old are you also will fall into that. So the ghost will say, like, if you ask how old are you, it will say young, adult, old. If you ask if it's old, if it's not, it'll say yes. If it is, it'll say no. Sometimes it will say adult, young, child. It's really weird, but you don't really need the responses. You don't really need to care about the responses for the evidence. Keyword number 4, because keyword number 3 tied into keyword number 2. Didn't really think about that when I wrote that down, but keyword number 4, are you friendly? Now this one does trigger the ghost to get a little bit more aggressive, so you do be cautious when you use this one. But if you ask, are you friendly, it will typically give you a response if it is spirit box evidence. And keyword number 5, are you near? This is the same thing as are you here, where are you? They mean pretty much the same thing, but it just gives you different responses. Now, they all mean the same thing. They all give you the same evidence. I gave you these 5 keywords. There's a lot more too. That there's I think there's 26 total. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure there is 26 total. But they all mean the same thing. It just gives you different responses. If you want to switch it around, you can get different responses with it. But they all give you the same evidence. Now, the little bonus tip I'm going to throw in here with it. If you can say all 5 of them at once, I found that it does trigger it to give you the response faster and give you the evidence faster than just saying, are you here? You wait. Where are you? And you wait longer. If you just say, are you here? Where are you? Are you young? Are you old? Are you friendly? All at once, it does typically give you a response faster. So now, tip number 4. How to tell if you have freezing temps without a thermometer. So there is a lot of players that I see, they run in with a thermometer, and I ask them why they run a thermometer, and then they say for freezing temps. But you don't actually need a thermometer. The thermometer is actually kind of useless. It's still cool, it can still help you find the ghost room, but ever since they changed it, so you need the lights on for temperatures to actually be correct, you need the breaker box on. The thermometer is always going to be anywhere between 4 to 10 Celsius, and don't really know Fahrenheit. I'm pretty sure it's anywhere between 50 to 60 Fahrenheit. I've never used Fahrenheit, so I don't know. But when you're walking around, right, and you find a ghost room, you can tell if it's freezing temperatures because you'll see this white mist, your breath following you around. If you look behind you and continuously to walk, you'll see this white mist following you around. And if you're standing still, if you just look down in the ghost room, you say this white mist, I'll show you. That means you have freezing temps, so you don't actually need a thermometer to tell if you have freezing temperatures. So that's just a little tip. It's really helpful. But we're going into tip number 5. Now in this one, it's a bit long, but it's how the crucifix works. Now I'm seeing so many people go around thinking they know what the crucifix does. There's a certain way you gotta use the crucifix. There is a certain way, but a lot of people are saying you can just throw it anywhere in its room and it will work. There's not very many times that does happen. I think there is a glitch. I don't think it's been patched yet, where it does work. I don't know why, but you can... Now, how the crucifix works, right? You gotta place it within 3 meters of the ghost's spawn point. So when you see the ghost appear as a ghost event, or where it starts a hunt, if you can get that location pretty much roughly the same area, if you can get the crucifix roughly in that same area within 3 meters of it, the ghost will use the crucifix and the crucifix will block a hunt for you. Now the crucifix can only block 2 hunts total, so you gotta remember that. It might have been changed, I think it was actually changed recently, to 3 hunts total, but just make sure you don't fully expect it to do 3, because there's sometimes it can do 2, and sometimes the crucifix doesn't even work at all. I've had so many times where the crucifix just doesn't work for some odd reason. But the crucifix needs to be within 3 meters of the ghost's spawn. So if you know you are dealing with Banshee and you're trying to get the crucifix objective for the extra $50, you can actually place the crucifix within 5 meters of the ghost. Okay? Because the Banshee, that's their weakness, is the crucifix. So you get 2 extra meters away from the crucifix. So you can place the crucifix a lot further away from the Banshee. And the Banshee will actually use the crucifix and will actually block a hunt for a little longer because the Banshee's weak to a crucifix. Now, I hope these 5 tips and tricks helped you out. I hope they help you in your ghost hunts, and I hope you enjoyed this. If you'd like to support my channel and like the content, consider dropping a sub. But with that said, I hope you all enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.